Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Happy almost March. From David here and E&D'S Weird and Wonderful Things. Haven't done a video in a while. Been a little bit under the weather. Got some health stuff going on. Nothing too scary. Thank God. Just did some testing, and yeah, most of the scary stuff is out the window. And those of you that keep up with me on Facebook, I'm pretty open and honest about what's going on and stuff like that. I appreciate y'all reaching out, and everybody else out there that's dealing with health issues, my family, friends, and loved ones, praying for you, and keep your head up. And, yeah, if you need to talk, I'm here. I really appreciate you. So we're going to do a video today. We haven't done very many in the last 10 days or so because we haven't been feeling well. But I'm posting some stuff on eBay today, doing some antique cigar boxes from the 1800s. I got some really cool ones that are getting ready to go on today. And, yeah, that's in beautiful condition from the late 1800s, and getting some tobacco tins on, some Prince Alberts, a couple of other more rare tins that we're getting ready to put on eBay and bring out to Bussey's Flea Market this weekend. Erica and I will be at the flea market both Saturday and Sunday this weekend, and we're super excited. Weather's supposed to be pretty good. Slight chance of rain on Sunday, but it looks like that might even go away, and it's supposed to be 60s, 70s, which I'm super excited about after the little cold spells we just had. So we're going to talk about a couple of different things in this video today. I'm going to touch base on some tobacco tins here in a moment and why I love them so much. And it's a really good beginner's antique collectible, I believe, and I've just always had a thing for them. And also, I'm going to talk about something a little bit controversial that's been on my mind for quite a while. I usually don't get political or get into the markets and stuff like that out loud because I don't want to offend anybody. Like, I really care about all of you regardless of anything. But I want to talk about imaginary coins for a minute because something horrible just happened and I'm not hearing people talk about it. And I don't have a ton of information about it. I'm not an imaginary coin expert. I study the markets on bullion and precious metals. I don't know the other investment markets all that well, but as I'm studying the markets of the precious metals, the last couple of years, I'm watching all these trends with imaginary coins because they affect each other. So I want to talk about that for a minute. So early trigger warning: if you're easily offended and or you believe in imaginary coins, you're going to want to stop watching this video like here or maybe in a minute because I'm going to just tell you my honest opinion on imaginary coins in a second. And yeah, and then I'm just going to talk about the bullion markets right now. Both gold and silver are doing really, really well. Gold is very obviously, breaking records on a regular basis, and silver looks like it's way behind it, but it's not. It's actually ahead of it. And it's I believe that silver's getting ready to go through the roof. We'll see though. So first of all, I want to talk to you about some of these tobacco tins that we sell at E&D'S Weird and Wonderful Things, and we have on our eBay as well, and why I like them so much. So these are called pocket tobacco tins, and they're one of my favorite things that I collect. I'm going to get out of the way here, and these are some of my little bit more rare and special ones that I collect. And antique cigar boxes and tobacco tins are probably my favorite things that I collect, next to Lemax Spooky Town. And I love them. There's a ton of history to them. There's a ton of American history to the ones that I collect. And, not only do they tell a story about, the late 1800s and the early 1900s, but they're also, they're just fascinating how well they still hold together. And, to me, it's a lot of American culture is built behind, the tobacco industry. And, I don't think our country would be what it is today, without that. And, so it just absolutely fascinates me. And I love being able to share that. And tobacco tins, are an affordable antique. Like, look at this. It still has the grocery sticker on it for 39 cents. That's how much this costs. So Prince Albert, everybody knows the joke, used to prank phone call people, call the store and say, "Do you have Prince Albert in a can? Well, you better let him out." Along the same lines as, "Is your refrigerator running?" So everybody knows Prince Albert, or most people know Prince Albert, right? So Prince Albert was made in tins. It was made after this, but it was made in tins from 1906 until 1960. Now, these were still so mass produced by 1960, they were still around to the late 60s in tins. But the actual tins stopped being made in 1960. And so, these are pretty common and easy to find. I sell these for anywhere from, $4 to $8, depending upon condition. Like, this one's in great condition. And once again, when I'm looking for tins, I'm looking for no barcode. You know, so this is early 50s, you know, maybe even late 40s in this condition. So, and then there's just a ton of different brands, and some of the graphics on them are just absolutely beautiful and cool. This is a Philip Morris brand, Bond Street, not uncommon, but you know, once again, this is from the 1940s, and to be in this condition. And then a couple of the others, Edgeworth, and if you see this piece of paper on here, that's the tax stamp. So all these had to have tax stamps on them when they were sold. When you're collecting tobacco tins, look, that's a match striker. When you're collecting tobacco tins, things with the tax stamp on it make it a little bit more collectible. And of course, you know, condition. You want things in the best possible condition they can be in. So one of the things that people did with tobacco tins, like everything got kept, everything got reused back then, especially like during and after the Depression. You didn't get rid of anything, period. You had everything you had for all of your life, plus everything you accumulated, because you just didn't get rid of stuff. It was so hard to get stuff. That you didn't get rid of anything. So things got repurposed, not only for storage, but for reuse. So this was a full-size tin that somebody cut down. Like they literally cut it and then stuck the bottom part back on so it was solid again. And a lot of tobacco tins got cut like this or got repurposed or reused for different things, so that it was easier to get to the bottom of it with whatever they were storing in there, and you know, whatever they decided to do with it after they had modified it. But yeah, just a ton of history, and it's so fun to collect, you know, and in my collecting and hunting for them, you know, you can find them for a couple of dollars, and they can also be thousands and thousands of dollars depending upon rarity and condition. I was joking around with somebody that some of the rarest tobacco tins that have ever been, you know, found in America have been found inside people's walls. So I don't know whether it was used for insulation. I don't know the actual history and story behind this, but like old Victorian homes and homes that are, you know, older than that, you know, 200-300-year-old houses, you know, not too many of those exist anymore. But the ones that did, they put stuff in their walls, like in between the walls. And yeah, some of the rarest, most like priciest tobacco tins in America were found inside people's houses in walls, which I think is kind of cool and kind of weird. All right. Controversial subject, and I apologize if I offend anybody. That is not the purpose of this, and I hope I don't. But I just want to be honest about something that I've been keeping my mouth shut about for a long time, and that's imaginary coins. Okay, imaginary coins. I'm starting to sweat because I'm worried I'm gonna upset people, and I'm not trying to. Like I try to stay completely neutral and uncontroversial as much as possible. You don't know my political opinions. You don't know my religious opinions. You don't know, and it's not because I don't have them. It's because I care about you and your opinions enough that publicly I'm going to keep my mouth shut, right? I don't care. I'm one of the few people that I believe when this is said. I don't give a crap. Regardless, I love you regardless. Whether I agree with you, whether I don't agree with you, blah 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 blah. I don't care what your opinions are. I love you and care about you. I might not like you. I might not agree with you, but I love you, and I truly, honestly do. So it's like, so try to stay out of this. So this is going to seem kind of political, a couple of these statements that I'm going to make, and I don't mean them as that. I'm trying to talk about the actual market of these imaginary coins. Okay, so I'm not an imaginary coin expert. Okay, I'm going to get that out of the way as well. Over the last 4 years, I have been investing in, studying, and buying, selling, and trading in precious metals. I have my precious metals license through the state of Texas. I worked high-end jewelry where precious metals were extraordinarily important, and then afterwards, you know, continuing out at buses, you know, I always have some silver bullion, usually some small gold bullion as well, coins and, you know, bars, and you know, 1 grams and 1/20th ounce coins and stuff like that I buy, sell, and trade in, right? Not the majority of my living, but you know, part of what I do, and I study those markets, and I have a lot to learn. I'm not an expert, but I do feel confident talking about this right now. So imaginary coins, I'm not hearing very much right now, and for a good reason, about the gigantic fraud that was just committed by North Korea with these imaginary coins. Okay, it was one of the top, if not the biggest, and once again, I don't have all the information, imaginary coin fraud ever, right? So it's in the top 3, to the best of my knowledge, maybe number 2, the fraud that was just committed with these imaginary coins. So a lot of people have mentioned to me, hey, did you see the crypto market's taking a dump, right? So everybody thinks it's just a dip, and it's not. There was billions and billions of dollars worth of imaginary coins that just disappeared in a fraud. Okay, so please do some research about that and find out about it. So, personally, the things that I'm going to invest in, the things that I'm going to collect, and the things that I'm going to invest in, and the things that I want to put my money into for the future, right now, I want to be able to put my hands on them, right? And that's why this isn't a sales pitch necessarily. Of course, I hope that you're like, hey, David, can you help me get some gold? Hey, David, can you help me get some silver? I would love that. But this is also more than that. Like, I actually care about you, and I care about your investments, and I care about your future. And I believe that they tried really, really hard to brainwash us that imaginary coins were the way of the future, and they're not. They're absolutely not. I just don't believe that in any way, shape, or form, right? I think that top 5% is going to rug pull on a regular basis, that they're just farming your money like I farm runes and Elden Ring. And I think that a whole lot of people that hate the American public, that absolutely despise us, are heavily invested in these imaginary coins. And when they can, and if they can hurt us with those, they will. They will. Those statements I just made are facts. So I'm not going to argue with anybody about them. I'm not going to argue about this with anybody. I'm giving you my personal opinion. And my personal opinion is the precious metals market is the way to go, period. So there's no instant gratification in gold and silver, right? So if I buy silver today, I don't make my money off it next year. Next year, it'll be up, I guarantee that, but it's not going to be up enough to positively affect my life. You know, silver goes up slowly. Go look at the market. Download the Kitco app and look at gold and silver over the last year, over the last 5 years, over the last 10 years, over the last 20 years, right? Constant elevation. You know, little dips. Every once in a while, you know, take your breath away for a second dip, but then it's right back up. Right back up, you know, and it is affected by these other markets, right? So it's affected by imaginary coins. So when imaginary coins just had that boom, gold and silver just had a dip, right? But right before this fraud was committed, gold and silver went through the roof. Gold just hit another all-time high, right? So that being the case, the markets do, you know, coincide with each other. I only study the precious metals market. It's the one that I can speak about in a semi-educated manner. And once again, you know, still a rookie in that. Only been studying, buying, selling, and trading for 4 years. You know, but what I can tell you is that precious metals and bullion are world currency. I can go anywhere in the world, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and I can sell precious metals, right? I can sell them to survive. I can sell them as a business. You know, I can sell them for some extra bucks. You know, part of when I am buying gold and silver, part of it, I'm going to put away for a rainy day, and for 5-10 years from now, that's when my investment's going to pay off in gold and silver. 5-10 years from now, buy it, put it someplace, forget about it. Someplace safe, and forget about it, right? But say we're going on a vacation and money's a little bit tight, I grab some of that gold and silver and I go and sell it. Even if I take a little bit of a loss, no big deal. I just got extra spending money. Right? I can do that any place in the world, and I'm not exaggerating. I can do that any place in the world, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Right? I don't believe that you can do that with your imaginary coins. I don't mean to say your imaginary coins. Now I'm pointing at you, and I apologize for that. With a imaginary coin, I don't believe you can. And that was the purpose of it. Right? The purpose of it was to be unregulated and for us to be able to have this world currency. And it's absolute brilliant idea, and it's so full of fraud and so full of holes that I don't think it's safe. And you know, the only people that are gonna, you know, truly profit off of this are the same ones that have been, you know, keeping us in the lower tier this entire time, right? So I take my investments into my own hands, and I want to be able to put my investments out at short notice, at the blink of an eye. I want my investments in my hand. Like, I don't want to have to go through a bank. I don't want to have to go through an organization. I don't want to have to go through, I don't even know what a blockchain is, but I don't want to have to go through it. You know, I don't trust a wallet that can be tapped into. If you want to put your hands on my investments, you're going to have to get through a hell of a security system and an armory, because we live in Texas and I'm allowed to live like that. And that's how I'm comfortable, right? I hope nothing happens where I have to stop what I'm doing right now and take off. But if it does, I have world currency. You know, electric can fall, the internet can go down, you know, EMP, you know, zombie apocalypse, and I have world currency. I also have a bunch of Topo Chico caps on standby for those of you that catch the reference on the bottle caps. But yeah, I want to be able to put my hands on my investments, need be, and either take off or get cash really, really fast. And you can do that with gold and silver. Though I'm going to reiterate that it's an investment for your future. This is where most people make a mistake with gold and silver, is they buy it, they wait a year, they see that it's up, and then they go to sell it like they really made something on their investment, even if it's up major, and you didn't, right? So it's like, for instance, a really good friend of mine bought a monster box of silver, right? That's 500 of these. You know, it's quite an investment. You know, he paid, you know, $16,000 for a monster box of silver. Right, a year later, was like, hey David, where can I sell this? You know, silver's up $1.50. And you know, when I explained to him that, hey, nobody's gonna buy that from you unless you sell it to another investor, nobody's gonna buy that from you for spot price or higher, right? Unfortunately, people buy back a spot and they sell over spot, right? There's this myth out there that you can buy at spot price. Spot price is for the mint, and you know, that's about it. That's about it for, you know, licensed dealers. If you're not a licensed dealer, or you don't work for the, you know, the country that's minting your precious metals, spot price is almost, you know, it doesn't mean anything to you. So except for, you know, understanding that people are going to buy back and sell forward. You know, they're going to sell over spot and they're going to buy behind spot. You know, the best you're going to find is somewhere between 75 and 85% behind spot if you don't have a precious metals license, and or you don't have, you know, the general public's not allowed to go to a refinery and buy, sell, and trade. You know, you got to have a precious metals license and an LLC and a tax license and all that stuff. So that being the case, you know, I highly urge you to have investments that you can put your hands on, like gold and silver bullion. You know, do some research, figure it out. You know, the market will go up and down. It is not a next year investment, you know, and you have to be disciplined enough to buy some silver, buy some gold, and you can do it a little bit at a time, you know, 30, 40, 50, 100 bucks at a time. Put it away and forget about it, because it's not a next year investment. It's 5 year from now investment. And I want you to go look at the gold and silver market and see what it was 5 years ago as opposed to what it is right now in this moment, right? And then I want you to look and see what it was 20 years ago as opposed to what it is right now in this moment. And then you'll understand what I'm saying, that you need to get it and put it away unless there's an emergency or something comes up where you need some extra bucks. Then you go ahead and sell it, understanding that you'll probably take a couple of bucks loss, you know, if it hasn't been that long. But yeah, so that was my opinion, not on the precious metals market. That was mostly facts, but on imaginary coins, because I would love to know that my friends and loved ones aren't the ones getting scammed and getting the carpet pulled on them. You know, a lot of the times I think that the top, you know, 5 or 1% or whatever it is just farming our coins, you know, in these type of investments where, you know, they own the majority of it, and you know, these gigantic dips that can just absolutely crush people. You know, I wish there was an unregulated currency that was fair and that any average Joe had a chance to get rich off of. Do I think that could possibly happen with imaginary coins again? Yeah, it will. But you know, I could also be struck by lightning here in my chair in my office. I think that yeah, the odds are about the same, unfortunately. So that being the case, I'd like to thank everybody for watching this video. I love you all. Thank you again for everybody that reached out with the health concerns, and keeping an eye on that with me. It really means a lot to me. And yeah, if you have any questions about gold and silver bullion and or any of our weird and wonderful things, you can check out our eBay where we have some of our antiques and collectibles, and you can also message me, and I'd be more than happy to answer any questions or talk to you about anything. I hope I didn't offend any of you with my opinions on imaginary coins, and if I did, I'm sorry. I will not argue with you, or, you know, my point to this was not to offend you. It's to try to educate people on things that are real, that you can put your hands on, that are researchable, that are, you know, have a long history of being, you know, safe to invest in, and that I believe is fair for most people and or for everybody to start investing and, you know, thinking about their future. That being the case, I love you guys again. Have a wonderful, weird and wonderful day, and hopefully see you at Bussey's Flea Market this weekend. Bye, everybody.